Okay, this is just going to be another quicker update video. So, I remembered one of the ideas that I had. Well, was getting was taking the human body and breaking it up into little square cubes, just square cubes. And with dimensions, you have to understand you can see inside the human body. So what we did is we gave each little cubic inch to a doctor. And what we did is make the doctor an expert on that cubic inch of the body. And anytime he sees it getting unhealthy, we learn how to fix that cubic inch of the body and make it healthy again. And we do this for every cubic inch of the body. You know, this is before you do the systems and break down into the systems and stuff, because that's, just as important. But the cubic inch, like every square inch of the body and how to make every square inch of the body healthy, that's that that's an effective science, whether you like it or not. And when you get dimensions and you can see inside the body all the time and really make observational adjustments based on the cubic inch, profile, um, that can actually be a very powerful process. One of the things that I did was with I have this work at home project. One of the things I set out to do is create and with my schools create and structure um, a platform so people could start businesses from all over the world. So you could start business with somebody on all over the world and have your phones working and your website working and your servers working and it all working like a cohesive business, like if you're a local business rather than sparsed out business. So what I did was create this like work from home platform with all the business needs and necessities that you could that you that you that you would need to do a work from home business, or that you'd need to run a business with. So with that, one of the things that we did was centralize all the services. So I wanted the government to be like all the government clerks, basically all the government clerks and government specialists to be organized in such a way that you can go to any government building and receive all the services the government has to offer. Rather than you have to go to this building, then you have to go to that building, you have to talk to these people, then you have to talk to that expert, then you have to talk. No, you go to one central clerk who submits your information to all the experts and gets you in contact with all the experts within that building. And if you need to go see an expert in his or her own building, that might be what you have to do in certain cases. But the idea was to centralize everything. So the same with the hospital. What we did was we had level one doctors or level one nurses to doctors, medical professionals that aren't all the way there yet, deal with all the issues. And when there's an issue that they couldn't deal with, they gave it to a level two doctor. And the level two doctor would tell them how to deal with it, and they'd go back to the level one doctor and he'd deal with it again. And everybody would be on this network of you dial in the level two doctor, you dial in the level three doctor, you dial in the level four doctor, and you get the advice that you need to get, over the network, whether it's like video. Exactly. My idea is like that you video call the doctors and they decide what you need to do. You'd set up a video appointment and video call the doctors. And this way you could like organize your resources so the most important resources are most readily available, and that's the level four doctors or level five doctors or whatever, or medical professionals or whatever the degree is, or specialists in a certain area and so forth. So that was one of the things I did there. Um, I thought what I originally made this video about is because I came up with an idea with these artificial organs, how I was trying to make an artificial system within a live organ. One of the things I decided is if you destroy that system, if you destroy that immune system or you destroy that communication system, and then you try to keep it alive with life support, this might be easier than actually making an artificial system at first. Because at first you might not be able to totally define the system. And now if you keep it alive with life support, that's going to help you define the system better, understand how it's working and where it's working and where it's located even. Like if you're going into three-dimensional space and dimensional insight into the body and stuff, to create an artificial system to begin with. You know what I mean? So, and what this leads to is like essentially destroying or creating incubated organs and life parts, life forms, life parts, whatever organs, everything else in between on life, and destroying them, and like trying to kill them and destroying them in specific ways, and then trying to fix them, and then trying to keep them alive, and then trying to fix your own problems is a technology within itself, to itself. You know, it's something that you want to get good at, is like not just replacing the problem with a new organ, but actually fixing organs, learning how to fix organs from a fake organ. Or not, I guess it's a real organ, it just didn't have a life, just didn't have a person suffer to learn how to do this technology to organs and stuff. So there's that, and then there's, what did I have here? Getting a computer. Part of my AI thing, where I do everybody's machine head programs and run them automatically in my AI, and I get like all the things that the machine head gets you to ad lib, and all the answers it gets you to fill in. I sort of do the same thing in my AI. One of the things that I do is get a computer to read. Is what basic things you could do here is get a computer to read. So you get a computer to read a newspaper article, and then it tells you who, then you ask it questions, and it can tell you who won the game and who got the winning goal, and what the coach's record is, and you can get it to read and understand and mathematically assign a value to certain phrases, whether this is a positive phrase or a negative phrase about a player, to understand it and give you an answer about what was written and what was said. So one of the goals would be to get a computer to read and understand things, and then get it to answer your questions. And that's one of the, that's like a foundational technology in the AI, where you would have this understanding on a computer level. You'd have an understanding of language in its entirety. See, one of the things we did was translation. Is like we tried to like draw those karma slurs. We tried to like give a karma, like sarcasm. We tried to give sarcasm a specific like wave and a specific color underneath the word. Like say to say sarcasm, and that saying it one way would just be would just be the word sarcasm. But saying sarcasm in a sarcastic way gives you this sarcasm. It gives you this wave shape. It gives you this, like, being sarcastic does this to your wave, if you will, brings you up, and then you come down, or whatever it is that is common throughout sarcasm. Add that underneath the word, like add some color and add some shape, and try to add some like mathematical definition to whether this is positive or negative, or if it, so you can address double negatives and stuff, and you can understand if this person is complimenting somebody, or if they're criticizing someone, especially if you're trying to read and understand things. So one of the things that you can do is, like, when you translate something, get somebody from another language to use your new translation, like you're drawing things out with, you're adding color to the meaning, you're adding shape to the meaning, you're adding all these attributes to the way that you communicate, and you try to get somebody from a different language to translate these attributes into a word-for-word representation, and then you take that word-for-word representation in their own language, and you translate it back word-for-word, letter for letter, and see where your letters are off, see where your words are off when you translate it back. And this is how you kind of like hone in on your translation process, is by translating it to one language and then translating it back to the same language and seeing the differences that occur. And you try to add attributes to how you communicate language. You add attributes to communicate more precisely and reference things that are there that a computer might need to know, as well as people might need to know. Like when you're writing, how do you write sarcastic tones and books and stuff? You just have to like phrase things almost in a way that leads up to something that presents a situation where you understand this is sarcasm. You know what I mean? And you have to be very skilled, rather than just write sarcasm and have a red slash indicate to everybody that it's sarcasm. All right.